another thing to add, and again, wasted a lot of time in my pursuit of trying to discover what some of these words might mean. I happened upon, I just went to the beginning, and then so I went back to the beginning of the document, second section. Now, I don't know what exactly they mean by normative, but I assume that means standard. So it mentions these documents that, and one of them has a vocabulary section. Okay, no problem. Well, that's great. It's really going to help me out. Well, first off, I had to rewrite this program because where is that? Okay. Because this program, if I include all top level windows, that gets rid of all of them. And in that case, I actually don't want to get rid of all top sister windows. So that took a few minutes, and as you notice, the difference, right? There's this little checkbox here. If I select this, this is it goes by category. If I chose this, it would hide anything of class, whatever the class is that this application is associated with, namely Explorer. So I don't think I want that. This is one. No. Sorry. This is one where I would want only the selected one, wouldn't I? But it already works okay. Didn't get rid of everything. See, I still got two. I guess each one has a different. Anyway. Yeah, all right. Each one of these is a separate process. It's not it's not the same process, I think. We can find that out. Anyway, so I go online, and well, here this is following the previous step. In order to read this document, I'm trying to go back here. You have to pay. That is just to get the vocabulary. So obviously I'm not going to pay for it, but I wanted to find out just how much they were asking for this precious document. And I think you just saw it, 130 something units of some currency that I don't even know. CHF turns out to be Swiss francs or something. Okay, so now I go and I find the money converter, and that comes out to 143 or 144 US dollars for that document. What does that document contain? Here's me searching for free stuff. I have to go back again, just to be sure that the one that I did download is exactly the same thing. Number of pages 32, right? Okay, now I downloaded it from somewhere else, a secret place, which I don't know if I should tell you about. That's it. No, that's not it. This is it. 232 ISO IEC 2382-1993. That's the same, right? 2382-1. back here. One not actually. So here. Okay. This is the document. It's worth $144 US. Okay, so my computer's running so slow right now, I can't. Maybe if I maximize it. I don't want this selection mode. And home. Go to the top. Okay, so here it is in French and English, just as the other. Okay, 25, 30. So that's 30 pages. Now, am I missing the last 2 pages? Maybe they're critical. This is 44 pages, but some are left intentionally blank. 28, 30, 32, 32 pages. That's exactly like it said. "32 pages." Okay? Same number, same everything, same number of pages, same languages. I'm pretty sure that this is the same thing. Okay, so it has, it's easy to find. The English is on the left, and the French is on the right. So that's English. And then you scroll down, that's English. Okay, now here's their 143. I can't tell this one. $144 text. Okay, so far it's not saying anything. Now it's describing how to read the document. Okay. It's telling you, when there are multiple meanings, how brackets and things are used. This is just explaining how to use the document. Done with that. Now the document. Data. Text. To access. Information processing. $144 to find out what these words mean. Hardware. Software. Firmware. Storage. Memory. Automatic. One of the things that's missing from this list, by the way, is expression, which was the one I was interested in. Alright. Now I hear you say, how did you find it? I'm going to show you the secret, because it's an abomination that they would charge $144 for essentially a list of words. Simple words. Okay, you see this? This is where it came from. ISO. And I secretly got here in a special way that it thinks that I've just purchased it. Now, the way to do that is you go to this. Now, I'm speaking softly so nobody will hear me. I hope you can hear. You go to this page called freestandard.us and search for the document you want. Then click on the thing here. Then click on this, and it tells you after the page opens, just click the I accept button, and it'll start downloading. And that's what happened. It downloaded it. It went here. I clicked accept, and into my download directory was deposited unzip file, not this one, but this one, turns out. Okay, so now you know how to bypass the stupid prices that they want to charge for these things. I'm going to put this in my favorites. Home. Oh, right. I forgot. One more thing. How did I get to this page? And it's not obvious. This is the secret. See, it shows you this. All this page is supposed to do. See, it's just tell you a little bit about the document. See, and none of these links do anything. But this here is not text, and then nothing appears down here. Well, it doesn't seem to anyway. But if you look at it, it takes you to another web page. Where are they? Where is that little guy? See, it's not even showing up. It doesn't even. Oh, wait a minute. That's this. Anyway, it's an image. And I don't know exactly how it works, but it takes you to an HTML page. Now click on this. Right? It's taking me to this. Now this is just some random something, and then it takes me, that redirects me to this, and that, now see, now it's not, maybe it won't work 2 times in a row. And it doesn't seem to, because I've already used it, and maybe it set a cookie. That's okay, I already got it downloaded. This was what it took me to eventually. Last time it came up like this. This time it seems to know. Big deal. All I wanted to know was the definition of one word. And then I'm searching Google, and it's coming up with all these, I searched for the name of the document, and I added the word torrent, right? And then the Google search came up with all these DMCA complaint notifiers. What was that? This is the document I wanted to look at. Oh, I do want to select tool this time. Terminology. Vocabulary. So copy this. I went over to Google, typed it in, and I put torrent. So I figured, maybe somebody just put up a torrent. And see, look, there are torrents out there to download the document, but according to Google is a participant in this United States Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And so, since they've decided to agree with that, they will not, if somebody complains, they will not they will not provide any information that someone who claims ownership of digital material that is copyrighted information. What do you call it? Intellectual property, copyrighted intellectual property. That is the thoughts that have been copyrighted if some thoughts have been copyrighted and somebody issues a complaint, then in accordance with the Digital Millennium Act, any references to those thoughts may be forced to be barred from your access. So you are not allowed to access this here Chilling Effects. It's not even a torrent website, but it may contain enough information in order to allow you to access that document, like I just shown you. You could, if you want, issue a complaint to Google, to YouTube, about this video, and it will be blocked. It will be taken down. That's up to you if you want to do that. But the free distribution of knowledge, I believe, is the right of every human on the planet. It's true it costs money to make those things, those documents, but some people are not able to pay, including myself. There's no mechanism by which I could pay for it if I wanted to, and in this case it's obviously ridiculously highly priced, overly priced, so that only a few people have access to it, if anyone at all. And that's part of the C standard. So if you think the C standard is an open standard, it's not. There is no open standard. If you can't get a listing of the vocabulary words, then they're speaking gibberish. And if the standard is specified in terms of gibberish, then it is not an open standard. They could print it in Swahili or something. Oh, no. Swahili you can learn. You can find out. You could translate from Swahili. They could have printed it in secret code, encrypted code words, right? That you have to pay for to find out how to decrypt. Anyway, that's it for that. I didn't really learn much from that thing, and I'm glad I didn't pay $144 for something I don't even want. I didn't even want to have to look at it in the first place. Here's this thing. I'm looking through this document, and I'm thinking, oh God, oh well, I'll have to look at this other document. Just to make sure I understand what these words mean. And then they ask me to pay for it. Yeah, right. In your dreams, buddy. Okay, that's it for that. And I'm going to say that I'm just going to mention that that quote in here, this quote that I find difficult to understand and I find ambiguous and misleading, or not leading, not even leading anywhere. Is it 5 or 6? Is actually a direct quote from this document. The word for word. I thought because it was so poorly written that it couldn't possibly come from the actual standard, like the original document. Now, where is it? It's in here. Storage. No, that's not it. Let's go back. Wait a minute. It's here. It's here. Sorry. I think. Well, here. It's not where you would expect to find it. Oops. No, it's 6.3. Maybe. No. Maybe. Hang on, I'll find it. Here, this one I think is it. No, that tells you about the sequence points. This one maybe. Hang on, I'll pause. Oh yeah, I found it. 6.5 expression. I'll show you this thing. I'm going to have supper and wait. And then I'm going to forget about this and just go on to the example I wanted to show you of a certain class of bugs that you ought to be aware of. Okay, so here's the quotation. Between the previous and next sequence point, an object shall have its stored value modified at most once by the evaluation of an expression. That part I thought I understood, and now I'm not even sure about that. That's exactly what that says. Furthermore, the prior value shall be read only to determine the value to be stored. The prior value shall be read only to determine the value to be stored. Right? So it's an exact quote. And it still doesn't make any sense. And I looked through a lot of this, and I don't understand. For instance, they even try to clarify it with an example. This paragraph, 73, says this paragraph, so that I think refers to all of this text, not just the second part. Renders undefined these statements, which is what you want, right? Okay, that would be you don't want this to be well defined. I here is the I in brackets is the previous value of I, right? And this here is an access of I. Which refers to its current value. During the evaluation. If you say I during if you regard I during an expression as referring to some value, then it would be its current value during the processing of the expression, and that value may or may not have been set yet by something that may involve a side effect, such as this part. Now, if we were to evaluate this here, we would return, that would give us the previous value. Forgetting about this whole thing is a complete expression. So you can forget about the first one for a second. If we were to go ahead and try to evaluate what's in the square brackets here, and that return a number like 6, right? That has the side effect of incrementing the current value of I, right? Now, this here is supposed to, syntactically, refer to what I currently is during the execution of this statement. The question is, should this be well defined? And in order for it to be well defined, we have to be able to say what this is, either the prior value or the value after this side effect has occurred. There's no sequence point in this assignment. However this assignment is accomplished, there is no sequence point during that assignment. To make it well defined, we would have to say that I either refers to the value after the left-hand side has been completely evaluated, but we can't because there's no defined sequence point. We can't say when this has been completely evaluated. This returns a memory location. So that's ruled out, and that's good. Why does that rule now? How does this rule that out? Well, I don't see I being modified more than once here. Right? And this certainly is this expression certainly is an L value. So we couldn't say I plus plus equals I, because I plus plus is not an L value. But when we put it in these brackets, that is an L value. So this assignment is fine. And I only see I being modified once. Right? So the first part certainly doesn't rule this out. Right? This expression doesn't modify I more than once. The prior value can be read, shall be read, must only be read to determine the value to be stored. Now what does that mean? Which value? The prior value. Now maybe that's not maybe we're talking about A in this case. Because both I and A are being modified in this statement. Right? I mean not A itself. Actually no, A is not being modified at all, isn't it? Is it? A is not being modified. What it points at is being modified, but I is being modified. Oh, no. See, now that's where the definition becomes important. Is what is pointed at by A, supposing it's a character array, like a string. If we modified the contents of that string, have we modified the object A? If the answer to that question is yes, then both I and A are being modified, which is probably true. Now, somehow this here is going to rule that out. The prior value shall be read only to determine the value to be stored. Now here we're reading the prior value of I, but it's being used for a purpose other than determining what to put into I. So that could be one way to interpret that, and that would, if that's true, that would disallow that. However, this is allowed. Here again, we are referring to the prior value of I, but we're not using it in order to determine the value to be stored in I. On the other hand, I is not being modified anyway. So this is not an object that is going to be modified at all. So nothing in this second, that would be the way I would read it. Because I here is not being modified, this paragraph doesn't even apply because this is only something concerning things that are to be modified. So therefore this expression is allowed because I is, we can consider I to be a constant. Right? Okay. And I equals I plus 1. Again, I is being modified, but this is allowed. I is being modified with respect to I, but this is allowed because even though I is being modified by this assignment and it's referencing itself, that is what the one case where it's allowed to be referenced, right? The prior value can be read to determine the new value to be stored. So that allows you to increment. Disallowed this because here I is being modified twice. I don't see an example there that clarifies the second part. Well, sort of. This sort of clarifies the second part, right? But how do we? This has nothing to do with the second part. So, how about I plus plus equals I? Yeah, that's like this thing. No. J plus plus equals. Not sure. That's it. Okay, I'm not going to look any further. I'm going to go have breakfast, and I'm going to come back. Breakfast, supper, and I'm going to go have supper, and relax for a few minutes, because this whole thing has gotten me quite frustrated. You know, I tried to find out what the words mean, and then they asked me for money, and I've got a stupid document that doesn't even clarify anything. So, but I'm going to be a happy-go-lucky person when I get back. So, see you then. Well, you won't notice much difference. See you. Hi there. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's raining pretty bad now, so I guess what I'll do is well, what you're seeing now is just the end of this video, but there's a second part coming in which I'm going to talk about something a little bit more on the cheerful side, about a bug, a certain type of bug that I've been meaning to find a context within which to share it, and I sort of have one now, so I'm going to talk about that. Okay, see you soon when the rain stops.